us tonight.
It's always one of the reasons I need a bigger necked guitar. Hands. Sorry.
All right.
Yes.
I can always cut these bits out.
Yeah.
So this is episode 11 of Headfirst. Welcome to anybody who's listening. And this week we're talking about things that frustrate us, because let's face it, the world is in turmoil
Where'd you
and
start?
things
Yeah.
hit left, right, and centre. And yeah, every episode we have a bunch of questions that we fire at each other, courtesy of AI. And so we'll take it in turns, I guess. So
Yep.
what has been frustrating you mostly this week, Andy?
Frustrating me? Well, where shall I start? Is this general we're talking about, or light music, or?
I think general, because it's, we've come up to our 3 years of being on Instagram,
Yeah.
social media. So that's been quite a sort of wake-up call, right? Because we've realised how much we've put in or not put in. And maybe as a band, how much more can we do?
Well, if I do it quickly from a personal point of view, and then from a music point of view. So this week's just kind of like, I've been very aware that I need to do some soul nourishing stuff on mental health. My mental health's okay. It's not as bad as it was, but I need to. I'm very conscious the last couple of weeks that I need to do all the good stuff, and it's just that getting off the sofa and doing it. Once I'm doing it, I'm fine. So that's mainly been like cycling. So I got back into the cycling. So I'm going out every other day. Only doing about 6 miles, but there's a few hills, so it's just a little bit of a warm up. Being 57, I can't hit it like a 20-year-old anymore. I need to kind of warm up the miles, and that's really great. I just love the feeling when just cycling, and I love that thing. Cycling is probably the only thing where you're both the passenger and the engine. And
Yeah.
just love it. Just kind of especially like the spring. I wanted to get out there instead of like just lulling, procrastinating until August when the summer's nearly over. I thought I just want to get out there early. So I've been doing that. That's been really, really good. Full mind, body, spirit workout. Just fills me with positivity. I've been getting into reading again as well. I've been very conscious because I get at lunchtimes to kind of escape the cabin fever of working from home. It's about 15-minute walk down to the local kind of coffee place, and I've been very conscious. I've just been getting there and just like not doom scrolling. I've been doing I do like a daily Sudoku, but then I'm just like Facebook Marketplace, Gumtree, all that kind of stuff. So what I've been doing now, I've been taking a book down, so I've been getting back into the reading again, and that's been really, really good. Again, fills me with positivity. And that all these things kind of, just just dissipate into the rest of your life. It's just cycling doesn't just kind of last while I'm cycling, just kind of get all positive, and I want to kind of like do positive stuff. I like the feeling of doing it,
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it changes up the energy, doesn't it?
It's what, sorry?
Just changes up your energy. You can just feel miles better after 5 minutes of
Yeah. What I say, it's kind of like you got more kind of zest for the positive stuff, and because you feel the positive kind of way, it's very noticeable when any negativity comes in. If you're negative and more negativity comes on, you don't really notice it. You're just kind of negative. If you're positive, it's a bit like saying, the light, the more you're, sounds cliched and corny, the more your light shines, the more you notice the black spots. And that's what I noticed with the positivity. It's kind of like, one thing is kind of like, okay, so I've been trying not to graze on food as well, because it's just like a habit, especially at my desk.
I've just had 2 handfuls of jelly babies. It's not good, man. I mean,
Yeah, I mean, but to be honest, I had a big packet of what are they called? Candy, those candy kittens.
yeah.
I had a big bag of them before I went cycling. I fooled myself and thinking cycle fuel. It's not. I don't need it. I haven't needed it the last 2 weeks when I've been going out. So it's that
Mm.
stuff. But I kind of like so. But for dinner tonight, I've had it a couple of times this week. I've just had like a half a broccoli, steamed, uh,
That's it.
chopped avocado. So the base of my plate is chopped avocado, chopped red onion, chopped banana, two satsuma segments, the worst of segments, doused in honey,
Really?
steam half a broccoli, and then put half a broccoli on top, and
Okay.
yeah, just bang it down. And it's kind of like,
Yeah.
but that's like the whole thing, like positivity. The more positivity, like from cycling, that then I kind of think, oh, I don't want to eat badly, that kind of thing.
Yeah. Thing is,
You
I
know,
think I just do the whole work hard, play hard thing because it's kind of, I always feel like I am rewarding myself of whatever it is I've been doing in the day. So if I've had a really active, constantly on the computer or whatever type of day, I will then
mm,
reward myself, but not always with, sweets, whatever, but
yeah,
easily go into a binge mode
it's
with
the first
food.
one that does the damage, isn't it? It's the first candy kitten that does the damage. Once you have one,
It's the first pint of beer.
bang.
Yeah. And now
It's
the
a,
weather's getting better and everything. It's like people are being more social, right? Anyway,
yeah,
I mean,
it's that kind of like, I went down a coffee shop the other day. The guy, I'm down there most days, and he goes, "Oh, you're down here every day, aren't you?" And I said, "Oh, I said coffee's the only vice I can have now." And he just looked at me and kind of like, "Oh, I don't know what to say," and kind of thing.
it's probably
So
because coffee's the
I don't know
advice.
I don't know what I thought all my other vices were, but yeah. So
Thing is, and well done, by the way. I know it's hard, isn't it, to, yeah, not just kind of chuck down all that bad food into your guts because it is, it's so easy to just let go of your good routines and stuff. Because obviously, I know with the qigong, everything else, you always
yeah, I
want
mean that's great. I mean that is great. I mean that's day
thing is,
changing for me. Once I do that in the morning, I kind of like do 20 minutes. It's great. Just kind of like
yeah.
really kind of gets me going.
Even if
But
it's
it's
just
better,
5,
but it,
yeah, even 5 minutes of it just changes everything, doesn't it? Because it's
yeah,
sort of
yeah. I just kind of like, yeah, just kind of like make sure there's nothing that's going to go off, disturb me, and just do 10 minutes of one, and there's a woman who does it, and I've got three of her videos, so I alternate one day, one day, and they kind of like they're all different. Like one's balance and core, one's
yeah. Have you noticed
um.
a difference in your, like, physique or anything?
Well, I'd like to say so. I do definitely. I do this. One of my favourite ones is I like a qigong squat. It's called Danyu. It's a qigong squat, and it's great. And I've really noticed that when I've been out cycling, kind of like my legs are much more powerful. And
Yeah.
yeah, I've noticed the whole. It's a bit like when I started yoga years ago. It's kind of like, oh, it's going to be touching your toes, and then you kind of a month later you look in the mirror and you're a little bit
Yeah.
buff. You know.
Yeah, I must admit though, when you're obviously I'm in my early 50s now, it's more difficult to shrug off extra weight or whatever, And again, that's why you have to sort of watch what you're eating at this age as well. Unless you're sort of naturally skinny, because obviously looking back and
Yeah,
thinking back to
yeah.
pre-baby days, you know what I mean?
And I think
I could
with
eat 8.
I think with the 50s, with the loss of energy of youth, you're kind of like, oh, you're on the same, oh, I'll just have a biscuit, and then you hit the fuck it button, excuse my language, and that's it. You kind of first one
Yeah,
does the damage.
again every now and again, whatever
Oh
fancies
yeah,
your
everything in moderation. It's just
home is.
being able to, find the moderation,
Yeah.
you know.
Okay, so looking at our questions, but what's one thing that's felt heavy recently, and how have you dealt with it? Not just
Is that
food
to,
related.
is that to me or you?
To you? Yeah, let's just go with.
So one thing generally that's been a bit
Hmm.
heavy bit of life going on, you mean?
Yeah, what's the most thing that sort of affected you? That's felt
Well, I
heavy
suppose, I mean,
when you.
work. There's a combination. The stresses in my life are. work's just like full on. It is. But I'm sticking to my wellness boundaries and just taking my lunch, doing 9 to 5. Sometimes I work half an hour late if I just need to finish something off. Just a one-off thing. Make sure I get out the flat, go to that, but that's always a bit kind of stressful. And there's just like we talked about it earlier. It's like just this whole situation with not being able to sell my flat. That's just kind of like I just feel stationary. Just feel like I can't move forward. People say, "Oh, what sort of thing are you gonna buy in Maidenhead?" Which I want to try and move back to. And I said, "Well, I can't think about that now. I used to be able to, but now I just can't even entertain the thought until
Yeah.
I've sold my Ellesby flat." And it's that kind of like just a burden around my neck. It's just like it just infuriates me.
I mean, did you have a feeling that it wasn't going to be sold with this
Well,
particular buyer then?
this
Do you
one
know
I
what I
was
mean?
more optimistic with.
You were
I was more optimistic with this one, but
until
then until they said the buyer's mortgage advisor said he couldn't find anybody who'd lend at the current price. Can I lower it? And it was just like, what annoys me, and I was chatting to this stage about it, so the flat, and she deals with a few flats. There's more than mine that can't be sold where I live. Um, but what annoys me is like a really, really nice flat. People always bang on about when they look around how it's got really nice tall ceilings and it's on the green belt. Physically it's great. It's just this archaic legislation lease kind of stuff that's just ruining it. So
this whole war situation's obviously had an impact because people are thinking differently. They're not spending money like they used to, and you know what I mean. Anything extra is just another
yeah, and the kind of
issue.
everybody's a bit twitchy with like interest rates going up and all that kind of stuff. And
Weird
but it's
times.
that but it's that kind of thing. It's like I can either uh, you know plow ahead, kind of like and try and sort something else with the lease, and that's going to cost me money in that, or I can just like, which is probably I'm leaning to, is like just look after my mental health a bit and just offload it to one of these investment companies that buy property with whatever lease. They're not,
Mm,
going to give me a lot less, but at least then it's gone, detached, and I can plan moving forward. It's just,
definitely.
I've got to go over there tomorrow just to turn the water on and flush toilets and
Yeah,
all that
can't believe
stuff. It's
it's
just,
been on for 3 years. But again, that 3 years, there's been different phases, hasn't there, of
yeah. I
potential
mean, it's just, yeah. I mean, it's just
dropping out. What did you say? Four, 4?
four buyers have pulled out now. Yeah, so it's cost me about. I mean, I said to the solicitor today, I emailed her and said about the buyers pulled out. Can you let me know how much I owe you? So I just want to get that paid off. But I don't think I've got some money on account with the solicitors. And I think that might break it even. But it's cost about 6 grand so far.
Mm.
Last 3 years, nothing to show for it.
Hmm.
Got no further. Um, yeah, it's just and I've got all these different opinions. Everybody means well. People saying, "Oh, you should rent it out." People saying, "Oh, just speak to the landowner and extend, get the lease changed, or do this, do that." And it's kind of like,
Yeah, yeah, another big headache to kind of contend with. Whereas you just wanted to let it go, didn't you? So you wouldn't have to deal with any of it. Now it's
yeah,
a
it's
whole.
kind of like, it's that kind of like my mental health, has been pretty rough, as the last couple of years, and this is part of it. And it's just like, I just really need to look after myself.
Yeah,
I think
absolutely. I've been
so.
thinking about this whole thing recently, though, just this feeling of acceptance when it's so difficult to accept something, but having to do it. It's such a
Yeah,
almost that alone is an energy of something, isn't it? It's like you really have to work on it to kind of sink into, okay, I'm not going to let it bother me. Got to just move on. What do I
yeah,
think next or do next? Because there's going to be a next, and you'll come out of this. It's not, it is a phase. It will pass. But unfortunately,
yeah. No, it will. It's kind of like, it's just I'm kind of more angry and I don't like being angry.
yeah,
Um, but it is that kind of like you say, it's an acceptance job, and you just got to like think of the big perspective, really, of get to your spiritual kind of like foundations and just realize, this is, a life challenge I've, given myself for
I mean, it's
whatever
just
reason.
yeah, it's a huge test of endurance as well, though, isn't it? It's not just, like the disappointment. It's the fact that you've really got to work hard on accepting it. Like, you know what I mean? It's just every single day becomes another challenge of
Yeah.
what's
Well, it is.
happening.
I mean, and it's kind of like,
Yeah, I know.
there's,
I know people are going through the similar housing situation where they're trying to, sell things,
yeah,
or should they sell something and then having to retract, and
yeah.
yeah, it's,
Well, it's things like as well. We had like fire door inspections at Christmas, and they come back and sort of said, I mean, I'm fairly lucky. Some people have had to buy new doors, but mine failed, but it can be fixed by some carpenter kind of thing. But they went. What annoyed me is that the management company who represent the freeholder, went out their way to say this is nothing to do with us. You've got to pay for it as part of the lease. It's your door. You've got to pay for it. You've got to pay
okay.
for everything.
Mm,
And it's like, it's very convenient that we've got to pay for that stuff, but then you're
right.
milking money out of us every single month.
Yeah.
Anyway, rant over.
Hang in there, mate. Hang in there.
Yeah.
You got this. It's
So what
going to
about
be okay.
you? What about you? Your big kind of thing that's been in your
Yeah,
life
well,
recently?
similar sort of situation, but different, because obviously I've been having a few moves and transitions and going used to the urban lifestyle again. Not that I can't do it, because obviously I've done it so many times. I've obviously been in London
Mm,
various times as well, But to go from the country to the city, yeah, it's just been a bit unnerving. It's kind of like I really have to get into nature, like a few times a week. If I don't, I suddenly feel really like I'm just on the screen all the time, or I'm not. And that's the other thing, isn't it? Your sleep gets disrupted.
mm.
You suddenly realise, oh, I need to go and hug a tree now.
Yeah, and that's it. It's kind of like, you kind of like uh, navigate towards the things that soul nourish you, whatever that is.
Yeah. And again, I mean, I know that stuff will come maybe, but I'm retired. I don't know if I live that long. You know what I mean? It's like I know deep down it feels like I'll always have that again. So just got to keep chipping away, right? At least I'll be
Yeah,
close to Maidenhead for rehearsals. Yeah,
yeah. Though it sounds like a really busy studio, that one in Maidenhead. It's kind of,
yeah.
the thing is you get bands and it's like regular bookings, so they book every single Tuesday evening or whatever.
Well, there's a lot of people making music, probably because they're trying to get away from the normality of the 9 to 5s or
Yeah, when I see people again,
is.
they're going to the soul nourishing stuff, the creative stuff.
Okay, next section, music and frustration. Obviously, this would just be a two-way dialogue. So it
Yeah.
says, how does frustration show up in your playing or writing? Interesting one. So,
Do you want to start?
how does frustration show up in your playing or writing? I mean, personal perspective is obviously the relationship stuff for me. That's been one of the biggest kind of um, what's the word, triggers for things that I know I
Mhm.
need to work through. So yeah, that's just been my sort of way of dealing with something I'm not 100% sure about. So yeah, it comes out in my writing. Guess it has done in the last few tunes. But obviously, there's political stuff. Sometimes I want to write songs about what's going on politically, but then I think, it depends on what's going on with the guitar, or if it's got to be uplifting, or it's got to be emotional, it's got to be soulful, it's got to be, it's weird, isn't it? But
Yeah,
as a
yeah,
singer, I think I do kind of naturally lean towards, well, just trying to kind of keep it soft and listenable, but also have some sort of lyrical, you know, angst, I guess.
yeah. I suppose getting that emotion out of you and onto
I don't know whether it does. I mean, rehearsals,
tape.
don't they? Because it's like thrashing it out,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
you know.
yeah.
you write something else in future, then yeah, I think it will just develop in its natural way. We're not we don't intentionally think, right, let's write about this, right? Uh,
No, no, it's just whatever comes out, comes
you
out.
know what I mean? Obviously, there's a war going on. Metaphorically, I've been thinking a lot. I mean, I have been writing more lyrics around these things that we're having to deal with. So yeah, we'll see what transpires. What about you? I mean,
Look forward to that.
do you tinker
Well,
away on the guitar when you think, you need to exercise a horrible emotion or something?
yeah, yeah, definitely. I definitely use the guitar as a stress buster. Definitely. Um, it's that kind of creative outlet. It's that kind of like stress coming out in either just thrashing a guitar in a living room or trying to record something. Trying to use it as a tool. But yeah, I mean, I get from a practical point of view. There's just not enough hours in the day
Okay.
to write and record.
Well, this is
There's
what
that.
we things, isn't it, for
Well,
musicians who
it's
have
that kind of like it's just that people say to me, "Well, you only work 9 to 5:30, but yeah, but I'm knackered after work, and
exactly.
I've got to go shopping. I've got to I want to go cycling."
Hey, this is why most people, well, that most people maybe around us who don't pursue music because they see it as a dead end game, or they wouldn't bother pursuing something when it takes that energy because they've got zero energy left. Then I mean,
Yeah, yeah. I mean, the kind of like, you have to make time. It's a bit like going back to the cycling. It's kind of like once I'm made the effort to like drag myself off the sofa onto the bike,
mm,
I feel great. And it's the same with like music. It's kind of like I'm on the sofa and it's like Netflix flicking through. But as soon as I get everything set up, I'm kind of away. I mean, the only physically frustrating thing is just the tinnitus gets set off quite easily, not badly, but it's just I just have to watch that, which just means I can't. Well, I can. I just have to stop myself from recording from hours on end.
mm.
Just have to just do an hour or something, and have the volume lowish.
Is that with headphones? Then do you get the tinnitus
Yeah,
with headphones?
with headphones, but I kind of like the little Vox amp that I used when we rehearsed at your flat. So I use that sometimes as a instead of headphones, so it's not, you know. But yeah, no, it's that kind of. I suppose the frustrating thing is it's kind of just not having enough time to do what I want to do, all the soul nourishing stuff, because I have to do all the stuff that I have to do to be able to live, which is like work 9 to 5:30 and
Yeah,
all
but you're
that
right.
kind
It's
of
just
stuff.
not enough hours. If we had a completely different sort of working hour of the week, and the same salary, it'd be a whole different story.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah, definitely. Um,
Next question. As we're starting to rehearse with a drummer, which is really cool, exciting for
yeah,
us.
it's great. Yeah.
Question here that's sort of relevant. It says, "Do you think rhythm, especially drums, is a
Mm.
way of processing anger or tension?"
Oh, interesting. Uh, definitely. Well, it's definitely a release for me if I listen to like. I mean, for our stuff, it's kind of like Phil's a great drummer and everything, but we're quite light and chilled. So for me, kind of drums and rhythm is more kind of like if I listen to like a real kind of like old school hip hop stuff, and I'm like,
Mm.
kind of like nodding and that just giving me a groove, a really nice groove, and really kind of
Head
like
and foot swapper. Yeah.
that kind of like. There's been a lot of I've seen a lot of reels recently with James Brown's old drummer because he died recently, and
Oh, yeah.
just amazing kind of like groove. That's that hip hop one that's kind of been sampled thousands of times,
Sure. Yeah.
and
Yeah.
just that kind of like just that does it. And then you got things like um, a lot of old school hip hop. I mean, a lot of Beastie Boys, a lot of kind of like uh, who are the ones back in the day? Du- 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 du. Boom. Yeah, just kind of like old, just old. Like there's a song by Young MC called Uptown. That's really really good. Just because the beat and everything. There's
Yeah, well, I love
band
my drum and
called
bass.
what they called Liam Howlett, out the Prodigy's favourite hip hop band. Cool Keith's in them. Called
Africa Bum Bum.
electromagnetic or something.
Uh,
So yeah, drum beats and stuff. What about you?
do we write better when? Yeah, no, totally. Yeah, with the beats, you mean? I mean, it's definitely a way of processing anger or tension because, yeah, I mean, I feel immediately better when I have a little dance around the kitchen or something.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Um, and then,
Mm,
yeah, with Tai Chi, I've been doing a lot of that to music. So I'll just watch a sort
yeah,
of
right.
belly burning exercise and then chuck some music on in the back. It's great. And also, I like to mix it up because I don't just listen to any, particular genre. So, yeah, drums. I mean, I'm super excited about just seeing how it all develops. I suppose. Yeah, film's an awesome drummer, so thank God we found someone who kind of digs our style as well as can put his own little flavour on it, which he does, right? Really well. It's
Yeah.
very intuitive, and that's great. And we don't have to sort of say too much, like, "Oh, can you do it like this?" He'll literally just gel in, and he knows. So with your guitaring,
Mm,
so yeah, I've been sort of bouncing off of that, obviously. So that is that, yeah. This is a great stress buster.
mm.
When's a time when being in a band actually pulled you out of a bad headspace?
Um, I mean, music has definitely. Um, a band I'm in? You mean?
Uh, well, being in a band, any
Oh, right.
band, I guess, actually pulled you out of a bad headspace. I mean, if you look
Yeah, I
back
mean,
on
I suppose it's
bands,
kind of like, if I wouldn't say I've been in the depths of despair and being in a band has kind of brought me out of that, but it's definitely contributes to all the good, like talk about, cycling and reading and all that kind of stuff. Music plays its part as well. Being in a band, you definitely feel better coming out of a rehearsal than you did going in. Um, so it doesn't do it on its own, but it plays a big part in it. Such as that, again, just move your body, and then you're just expressing yourself, getting creative, and yeah, the world
I
just
mean,
changes your perspective a bit.
do you remember any times that you were in a bit of a funk and music just pulled you out? Being in a band pulled you out of, the
I think what springs to mind, 2010, the latter half of 2010, I was in a bit of a bad headspace, um, kind of relationships and mental health a little bit, and it was a pretty shit year, really, looking back. But I remember, I think we'd had a little break, but I remember getting back into it with you maybe at the Christmas 2010. We just started dabbling a little bit, and then 2011 we started. We did a lot, especially in the first half, and we wrote really Magnolia and all that kind of stuff, and
yeah.
got on the won the BBC Demo of the Week end of June
Did we have a
2011.
little break after that though as well? I don't know. I just can't remember properly, all the timeline stuff. But
Yeah, I don't know, but definitely that definitely got brought me out of my funk. I remember going into 2011 with a different headspace. So there'd been a shift, and then and we were doing a lot musically. We were writing a lot and stuff, and doing gigs, did the busking, all that kind of stuff. And I just remember, I just definitely that definitely massively contributed towards um, uh, being in a better headspace, because it's that kind of thing where I've always been a bit kind of at work. I just work. It's not like I don't get massive amounts of soul nourishment out of it.
can't
Um,
imagine.
but doing the music, I know it sounds strange. I remember in 2011 doing the music made me feel a bit more valued,
Mm.
if you know what I mean. So that kind of springs to mind. Definitely helped bring me out of the kind of dark place of 2010.
I think it's what we
Um,
said in that post, isn't it? It's like remembering why you started in the first place as well, because if you lose that, there's not really much left, is there? Because if you intentionally just think, you know what, it's just never going to work, not good enough, or whatever imposter syndrome type of
mm,
thought process goes on, yeah, like you say, if you put some value into it, you know that you can do it because why wouldn't you? You enjoy it. Because I actually definitely thought we may not have got back together to carry on what we've done. So it kind of just feels like, yeah, we've achieved such a milestone by even staying together, right? Continuing, I mean,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
chip
yeah, yeah.
away. Yeah, we've had all these stops and starts and stops and
And I
starts.
think I think it's that I think it's that kind of stopping, and then when you go back to it, you value it a bit more. You kind of go, oh, this is why I was really into it. Um, and I
Because
think
we're
going back in,
instant walkers, I mean, they would be if we just got them finished.
yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, if we saw them in the entirety one day, it'd be like, yeah, that album's done.
I think when we went back into music in beginning of 2010 into 2011, I think then we started writing a bit differently.
Mm.
The kind of music, the kind of style of music changed a bit because it was
Mhm,
pretty
mhm.
much jazzy, wasn't it? We still had that 2000 when we met that jazzy kind of chill out stuff, and then 2011 we started writing a bit more melodic, kind of like sunny stuff, like really Magnolia, and also what was that one called? You don't like playing it live at all. What was it?
Cycles.
No, no, it's around that 2011.
Oh, right, right.
Um,
Um,
I
oh,
can't remember what it's called. It's a bit sort of melancholic,
well,
but
I kept having fog going around my head, and that's to do it live. And I suppose it's because all the venues we've been to, it's difficult to do the slower numbers because obviously it's either been really bloody busy or people aren't listening to guitar vocal
mm,
on its own because it's you need peace and quiet
yeah,
to
yeah,
absorb.
yeah,
If you don't absorb it, it just goes nowhere. So we've not really, now we've got a drummer in tow. I guess it'll make a difference.
yeah, yeah, definitely, yeah, yeah, yeah.
But yeah, what I was going to say, this whole intentionally writing to create a piece of music that's obviously going to, impact the masses. It's not like we're doing it for that because what we're doing is actually completely natural. We don't know that anyone's going to like it, so therefore it's not really intentional. You know what I mean? Whereas obviously a lot of producers now, or that have been for millennia, you know, writing that structure, the formula, the yeah,
Well,
uh,
it's like it's like a Just Eat song, isn't it? You just kind of like this is what we want to order,
manufacturing.
deliver it, and it's not, it's that kind of like I definitely don't have any pressure when I'm writing and recording. It's just like I'm
Mm.
just got no end game for it. It's just gonna see what happens,
Yeah, we've done
and
it.
if it's any good, it's good. If it's not, then it's not. You just don't. But it's doing it. It's the doing it.
Yeah, I've just been in shock a couple of I mean, obviously everything is image based now, and it's kind of like when you look at some artists and how they've been molded into a completely new person, and you just think, and I just think, I don't want to be in that position because obviously, if I'm an aging, rock slash pop star or whatever, you know, I'm not going to have someone tell me you've got to lose 15 pounds, love. It's like fuck
Yeah.
off.
Well, I heard
This
an
is
interview.
on
An
now to
interview.
accept imperfection in the music industry, but it just seems like it's going the other way constantly.
Well, I
Uh,
heard someone. I can't remember who it was. Heard in an interview with some musician the other day. Who was it? Uh, and they were sort of saying, I think they were a musician from the 90s. They kind of made it in the 90s when it was like no social media, no YouTube, and all that kind of stuff, no file sharing really. And they were saying, they would have so much anxiety being, trying to make it in music now, because you wake up when your first thought that the record company's been shared is, at some point I've got to make a really good 40-second TikTok
Yeah.
to send out to keep my profile up. It always seems to be that kind of like, always got to be giving a piece of yourself away, to keep people interested.
So in theory, if we do like a 2-minute reel every couple of months, you know, that's kind of acceptable for our standards. Do you know what I mean? Because if you break it down into seconds,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
just
yeah. Just
one little thing
yeah,
every day. No, I mean,
3 months
look,
worth of stuff in 2 minutes. Yeah.
it just feels like the whole industry is centered around this. You won't make it unless you're like this, and so therefore, well,
Well,
again,
it's not about the music, is
what
it?
industry you're in.
It's just about uh, how much they can squeeze, how much money they can squeeze out of you, you know. And then once they've squeezed it all, then they just put you down and
But
pick
it's
up the
sad,
next.
yeah. But it's a sad indictment, isn't it, of what's going on now? Because they're saying you're just not acceptable. You're not acceptable unless you have this kind of haircut. Uh,
Well, yeah, exactly. It's kind of like, yeah, it's that kind of, you got to be young, you got to appeal, you got to have sex appeal, you
well,
got to be
how
all
as
over
a man,
social
how do
media.
you feel? Do you feel that pressure at this age now? I mean, I know we've gone past these hills anyway in terms of allowing it to get us stressed. But imagine if we were suddenly catapulted to stardom or something, and someone just went, "Yeah, Andy, you're gonna have to start shaving a bit more or something." I don't know.
Yeah, that would
How
really
does it make you feel
that
as a guy?
that would really get on my nerves. Yeah, it's that kind of like, yeah, just no, I wouldn't do it. It would be because it's like, you can't be nurtured these days either. You got to be like, you got to have a hit, and you can't rest too much on having that hit, because now you got to produce another hit.
And relax. Is it still recording?
Yeah, I think so.
It's okay. Sorry, where were we? Oh, yeah.
Uh,
So basically, molding yourself to fit the pre-requirements to be in the music
well,
industry.
yeah, you just get,
Don't fit the mold. That's the thing, isn't it? There's a film out with Reese Witherspoon, isn't it? Or a series or something. And the guy goes to her,
uh,
"What mold do you fit in?" She's like, "I didn't fit any mold."
yeah,
He
yeah.
went,
You got to be in fashion, unfortunately.
but
Um,
again, it's just it's basically where it goes back to not being relatable. Then, isn't it? It's going back to someone who's not picking up the message you're trying to convey. They want you to look a certain way. For instance, obviously, look at the K-pop industry. Do you know what I mean?
mm,
You're going to have to appeal to children and your little short skirts, or guys with their tank tops and whatever else. It's yeah.
yeah, I mean,
No,
it's just
can't be nice.
exploitative. They're just exploiting. These
I
people
mean,
want
I
for
mean
fame. You what?
sorry, exploitative. Yeah, yeah.
No, it's exactly these. It's a bit like X Factor now. These people are so want fame so much that at that point they don't care. They just kind of like pick me, and it's only then once they start. Because I've read about some sort of X Factor winners in the past, and they kind of like, it's been great, won it, and then suddenly it's like, right, you need to wear this. You're not writing any of your own stuff. We're writing it for you. Um, you're going to be doing this. You're going to be doing that. You're going to be wearing this, wearing that. You're not your own person. You're someone else. You're someone else's version of you. You're not your version.
Yeah, it's like I said the other week. It is a bit disheartening when someone says to you, "I don't think you know, older people should be in the music industry, because it's embarrassing for someone to actually keep pretending that they're going to make it. So again, it's just this, well, what is making it? Obviously, if you're like, if you think you're going to become some sort of big rock star when you're 60, 70, I know maybe that's never going to happen for someone. Do you see what I'm saying? Or, but it is
Yeah, but
that
that's
thing.
that's that.
You
Yeah,
should
so
be still doing music if you like doing it. Come on now,
well, exactly. It's that kind of like, I just like making music. I just kind of like I'm much better at writing songs than playing covers, you know,
Mm.
and and I've got no more apart from wanting to sound good and to be able to gig and just do that kind of stuff. I've got no more expectation above it than that, because it'd be ridiculous. You just kind
Mhm.
of you setting yourself up for a fall. It's just kind of like, you just I just want to get out there, gig, and
And we
then
haven't got all that stress around it, have we? Because we're not gonna, never gonna
well,
pander.
yeah, exactly. It's that kind of like, I've been in bands when I was a lot younger, and there was a lot of kind of like, come on, we got to do this, we got to do that, got to do this, and it's like, some of you are into it, some of you aren't into it, and then it just pulls the band apart, and
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, there is
you
that.
know, um,
Therein right lies the breakdown of relationships. But hey, we've think we've done really well to just kind of agree
yeah,
on
no,
things. We're on the
yeah,
same
yeah,
page, thank God.
yeah, yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
do we write better when things feel chaotic, or when things feel stable? That's an interesting one.
Hmm.
I thrive on chaos.
I'd probably say chaos. To be honest, more chaos than. And I've heard a lot of musicians are like this, aren't they? It's kind of like if you've got chaos happening in your life and you just pick up a guitar and something just sort of comes out. Uh, just that if you this is just from a musician, non-lyricist point of view. Just stuff just seems to you just play a bit differently when you're a bit pissed off and a bit kind of like you just play a bit. It all comes out in the way you play stuff. It's a different sound, a bit jagged or a bit
Hmm.
whatever. Um, and I should imagine like with you, kind of lyrics especially, then you get to like offload it.
Mm.
Um,
Yeah, and again, going back to like when I hear a piece of music that you've sent me, that is always sort of a good indicator that we're going somewhere really good with it. That I start writing really quickly, or it's like I think we've gelled really well in terms of that when we've written things at the same sort of time where we've both had chaos in our lives or something, and weirdly
yeah,
it's worked out, and then those songs just materialise. So, yeah, was that covering that last question? Pretty
I think
much.
so.
The
Yeah, I think
state of
so.
the world without getting preachy. How do you stay informed without getting overwhelmed? Oh, we've talked about this before actually a lot, haven't we?
Yeah,
Being in the world but not of it. And as a
yeah,
musician or artist, like I said earlier, being delusional helps because you're kind of in your own little world and headspace, aren't you?
yeah. I just
Um,
the older I get, the more I just want to retract a little from the world. I still want to
mm,
know what's going on, but I just don't really want to be part
talking
of
about
it. Or just part of the bullshit. Part of the. You can't even have a conversation with people these days because it's either everything's so extreme. You
mm,
kind of put your point of view across, and suddenly you're like that, are you? And it's like, no, no, no,
right,
or you're
yeah.
like that. There's no kind of middle ground. But
I suppose, yeah, it's like people have just you have to take a side, otherwise you don't care. Um, but sometimes if you do take a side, well, you're going to get villainized for that anyway, aren't you? Especially if you have strong opinions, or So
yeah,
how do you sort of yeah, stay informed without getting overwhelmed, and obviously getting overwhelmed with other people's opinions or emotions,
yeah, I definitely avoid drama these days. I cannot be involved. If I
Yeah.
was watching, even watching a spiritual podcast today, and the woman guest, she was quite loud. She was quite talked really fast, and I know that's not really drama, but it just kind of like just
Georgie, yeah.
attacked me a bit, So I had to just turn it off. I can't deal with those kind of things.
Yeah, I
You
must
know.
admit, I can't even be around a group of people who are shrieking like hyenas or something anymore. Like, for instance, even in a supermarket, I get really sensitive.
Oh yeah, God.
So sensitive to noise and people. I'm just like, get the fuck out of here,
Yeah, yeah.
Get everything done and go.
And that's probably why you're attracted to nature. It's kind of like the peace, Mother Earth
Yeah. Well, I suppose that's
peace.
again. It's almost like you're feeling other people's frustrations, aren't you? That you can sense everybody's frustrated because yeah, they either want to get things completed quickly, or they
Well,
don't want
it's their energy hit. It's their energy
just
hitting you as well,
bulldozing their
isn't it?
way, bulldozing their way through a situation. It's like, whoa, chill out,
Yeah, with people's energy as well. You kind of like their energy hits you, and it's kind of like, whoa, just got to get out of there.
Yeah. I mean, I must admit, there's been a few things recently that have jarred me, especially in my sort of closer circles as well, and that's something quite hard for me. But I'd say I'm quite sort of cutthroat and just letting those situations end because I cannot
Mm.
even have anything disrupt my peace anymore. That's how sensitive I am.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
If I
yeah.
just
Empathy.
smell, if I smell sort of bullshit, I'm literally out of there. So that's the other thing I've noticed. There's been a shift. It's like weird. I've just turned into some different kind of person where I just don't let other people's shit bother me. Been like
Yeah,
that for,
yeah.
but
I think it's that
the older you get. Mm.
yeah, I think it's that self-preservation. It's kind of like I haven't got the energy to fake stuff, fake conversations, fake
Well, again, I call it.
smiles even.
Well, I call it fake support because a lot of people might not actually have your back the way you think they have, and that's quite a crushing thing to bear, especially when you're a sensitive person that you just basically want everyone to love you or something. So like that's not realistic. But when you expect somebody, to have your back or somebody who's close to you, uh, betray you in whatever way, well, that's how it feels. It's like some sort of
Mm.
very weird, yeah, kind of knock on your trust. And once the
Yeah,
trust, that's gone. Like I can't be around people I can't trust anymore. And that's that. So that's one less thing for me to worry about, mental health wise.
yeah. I think you kind of like the older you get, you kind of, you first of all you decide what kind of relationships you want, uh, you know, what you don't want, and then that goes into all kinds of relationships. Even with a stranger, in Costa Coffee, is just fucking annoying the shit out of you because they're just talking loud or whatever, and it's just kind of like just need to leave this situation. Just kind of self-preservation.
But equally, there's also so many nice people who seem to properly care. So I think when you come across that, it's just like, oh, such a relief.
Yeah, I think I kind of like.
You're restored, kind of thing. Yeah, it's real. It's almost like you're constantly sort of scanning everything to see how it's going to affect you next, isn't it? How,
Well, I'm
how
always, yeah. I mean, when I kind of like when I walk to the coffee shop at lunchtime, I'm always like scanning who's ahead of me, who's coming towards me,
mm,
who's in the queue when I get to the coffee shop, who's milling about, who's,
it looks like
you
they're
know,
going to beat you up.
yeah, it's just kind of like, just kind of a bit streetwise, I suppose. You just kind of,
Especially when
um,
there's like, a group of youngsters who are just you can tell they're spoiling for a fight or
well,
something.
especially like when you used to live in Oxford Road, especially, I'd walk from the train station with my guitar case, used to get loads. Now and again, I had a comment, but you just get like groups of kids just looking at you, and you kind of like, are they
Mm.
just inquisitive, or are they gonna try and mug me? Are they gonna
Steal your
shout
guitar.
something?
Yeah,
It's I'm always kind of aware, aware of my surroundings
you have to be. Yeah, yeah.
and all that kind of stuff. If I'm in a coffee shop, I'm in a queue, I'm scanning about what kind of people do I think are sitting over there? What kind of group over there? What are they like? Where's the noise coming from?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just just kind of weird.
Okay,
Yeah,
turning frustration into energy. What do you do with frustration personally and musically? I think we've kind of covered that one, haven't we? Is anger
yeah.
ever useful? Is anger ever useful creatively, or does it get in the way?
Bear with me.
Well, it can get in the way, depending on how much of it you are harboring.
What does anger get in the way of music?
Does it get in the way?
I suppose, yeah, I suppose it can do. I suppose it depends what kind of anger. I've been in
Mm,
bands where I've had resentments against people, um, and that just kind of like that just flattens my playing. Just kind of like can't be asked. I'll just do the bare minimum.
mm,
Um, yeah, and sometimes you get just angry at trying to record something. It's not really a person. You're just angry at yourself because you just can't get the song to work.
yeah,
And you just think, fuck this, and then you just go, best thing to do is walk away and just come back to it the next day.
yeah,
I've
exactly.
found, but yeah, it's that if you're tired, tired, hungry, it's not going to help trying to
Yeah,
be creative.
you can't push yourself when there's nothing left to give.
Yeah, yeah,
So,
yeah.
which leads on to the next question quite nicely. It's how do you stop frustration from turning into burnout? What's your reset when everything feels too much?
Yeah, I suppose just doing the good stuff, really. It's that, qigong, cycling, reading, just moving away from whatever situation is giving me stress, and yeah, just trying to detach from it, I suppose. you
Hmm.
know
Go for a long walk with a dog, I say.
yeah, I mean, I kind of like, I feel I'm lucky in that I don't live with anybody. I think if I lived with someone, then it would be particularly uh challenging in my more frustrated moments, not to take it out on them. I'd probably just isolate. I'd probably just go to my bedroom and just isolate.
I must
you
admit, I've
know
been thinking heavily about relationships and how people do this because obviously it's been a while since we've both been divorced, but the whole
yeah.
relationship stuff, navigating, the various situations, and then it's like actually when you realise you've been celibate for a certain amount of time,
Phew, yeah,
it's almost like oh, a holy place, if I can say that without sounding like a messiah. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah, I mean, it's
Clean from energetic interference. It's just like, actually there's something to be said for being single and celibate and you know,
I mean, I
yeah.
don't think I think I personally think I'm just not built for, well, I kind of like, I don't think I'm built for cohabiting relationships, you know, because I'm just so free spirited and independent. I like to wake up
Yeah,
on a Saturday and think I'm just gonna, it might seem weird to other people. I think, well, I'm just going to drive to Birmingham to a guitar shop or something, or drive to Brighton to a guitar shop, or do whatever. Some people might find that weird, but when you kind of like when you're living with someone day in day out, and it's kind of like, oh, we've got to,
shop at B&Q on a Saturday.
yeah,
We
exactly,
had a
yeah.
relationship episode, didn't we?
Yeah, it's that kind
Well,
of like, that kind of,
thing, security or comfort of knowing you're doing the same thing all the time.
yeah. And I think it kind of keeps the relationship fresh if you're not living together, because it's kind of like,
Oh yeah,
kind of from a basic level, it's kind of like sex would be a bit more fresh,
yeah,
and it's that, but and when you're away from someone for a day or two, and you come
mm.
back to them, you got more to talk about. What you've been up to, what you've been doing, blah 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 blah.
But again,
As
every
opposed to,
relationship is different, I guess.
yeah, yeah.
Some people are quite happy not talking about their maybe daily.
I had a really interesting thing the other day on a spiritual podcast about, some people just don't, especially with about having children. Some people just don't have children, not consciously, but it's kind of like because they're near the end of their karma, and they don't want to create any more. Um, so
That's
yeah,
interesting.
it's just kind of weird. But yeah, it's that.
And obviously, some people just wouldn't be able to hack it at all, which is sad for the children then. And it's like, let's not bring any more children into the world who aren't going to
Yeah, I
be.
mean, this is kind of like it's what
Yeah.
I think it's Elon Musk was banging on about, we need to keep populating the world because the population numbers are going down. It's like, well, hold on a minute.
No, you wonder why? Because they all wanted to depopulate the planet by creating a pandemic.
But it's kind of like, don't you think there's too many people anyway? Our NHS finances, social care system, benefit system, it's falling off a cliff edge because there's so many people it has to cope with.
Mm.
Yeah, it just boggles me. There's these people that kind of live in their own on another fucking plane away from. That's why I
Well,
always like my guilty pleasure is Made in Chelsea because I watched them, and on one hand I'm thinking, you know, one of them's got a problem because their Louis Vuitton shirt's got a stain on it. I'm thinking you should fucking work. You should live my life for 6 months, then you'll know what pain is. But then I look at them, and they're just um they're very privileged, but they're just
relative, isn't it?
just 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 not very nice people. Not all of them. Some of them
I think
just
what
aren't
gets to
very.
me, yeah, of course, not all, and you could say a lot of these people who have sick amounts of money are pretty arrogant with it, but a lot aren't, and it's kind of like siphoning through the people, yeah, that you could stand next to and talk about anything, not just feel like they're looking down on you because they've got
Yeah,
money.
and the thing is, you don't really know those people because they're not the ones with the flash sports car, and they're not the ones outwardly portraying their wealth. There's people
Yeah.
that there's people who are millionaires and that driving old bangers.
Hmm.
Because it's like they don't feel the need to have to. I'd be embarrassed if I had a flash car. I'd be embarrassed to drive it.
But again, you can never judge a book by a cover, right? And I was listening to this woman who's telling a story about when she was younger, and she passed this man who was just throwing money down on the street, and he was a millionaire, and he was just throwing his money away basically, and he was laughing at people like scrambling for the money. But apparently, a lot of people were mocking him anyway because they just thought he's like a beggar or something. You know what I mean? It was just
Mm.
his way of sort of, yeah. And I just think I've seen those sorts of videos. Those videos a lot. They've shown the rich people going out there and throwing people at money at beggars and whatnot. But it's
Mm.
like, why are you doing that anyway? Just be philanthropical and give it to a charity, which is obviously what a lot of famous
Well,
do anyway. But
I think some of it's a bit egotistical, isn't it? So look at me, I can give you £20 or whatever.
yeah, but then I
But it is.
think
It's that. Is it kind
point
of
I'm
like
trying
like
to
you
make,
like you said?
you can't just assume that someone's down and out because they look a certain way.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah.
assume they haven't got money, and that's again, that's the indictment of this culture and world, isn't it? Everyone aspiring to.
Well, there's that good saying, isn't there? There's that good saying, um, you're so poor, all you've got is money. You know,
Yeah,
that kind of like as a
in our
spiritually
episode,
bankrupt. Spiritually, you're bankrupt, but you've got loads of cash.
yeah, and that thing where some people who have reached the pinnacle of success, we said that about on that other episode about people who don't feel successful, they'll never be satisfied. Nothing's ever enough. What do you
Well,
do?
it's these people
That's
that kind of
the
like,
state of mind, right?
yeah. I mean, there's these people that there were facelifts and all this
Yeah,
kind of stuff.
exactly, exactly. Like you'll never be beautiful enough, like no matter what you do, because one day you're going to run out of that plastic stuff. So what are you going to do then?
I heard someone say the other day, he's never known someone have a face look younger. They just look weirder. They kind of like never seen someone with a facelift who's it's made them look younger. You're either old and look old, or you're old and you look weird. You know, never, and it's quite true. And it's quite, especially for women, I should imagine. There's that kind of like
Yeah,
always chasing beauty. As you get older,
well, it
chasing
is.
the.
That's the other thing. It's just constant sort of all the adverts on YouTube or on telly, I guess. had a telly for a long time, but everything is just geared towards perfection, isn't it? Youth and perfection. So,
Mm.
what have you got for the older generation? Like, not very much. They've just
Yeah,
got to.
yeah. I mean, it's like, yeah, exactly. It's kind of like, um, you're not marketable because you're old. You buy your sell by date kind of
Yeah,
thing, And that's what, and that's
it's just,
and happens in a lot of things, like at
yeah.
work. I remember there was a work conference we had, and they were banging on about, I think it was we had a company come in to do a talk, and the guy was saying, I really like people in the young people in their 20s because they've got all the ideas and stuff, and all the people in the 30s, they can got all the implementation that. And then he stopped, and he's like, hold on, what about the people in the 40s and 50s who've got all the experience?
Mm, hmm. Yeah, no, I just don't. It's not healthy, and it's obsessive. Because if you're going to keep on nitpicking at yourself and not love yourself for who you are, like in your own skin. I mean, look, I'm a victim of that as well because I do like good photography and I like to look good in photos. Obviously, we've done photo shoots before.
Hmm.
I still want to look a certain way. Like I still enjoy dressing up and I still enjoy makeup and all the rest of it. But I would not. Well, again, I wouldn't have plastic surgery for anyone for any amount of money. Um, I want to be able to grow old and think, yeah, I'm going to look at myself and think, you're not looking great, love, but am I going to hate myself, Because I'm just a human being.
Yeah, I mean, it's just about, the way I look at it, it's just the battle scars of life. That's what happens to your body. You get old, and
Exactly. It's about other
um,
people not accepting you looking a certain way. It's always someone else's projection. It's not like, and hey, you're not going to be a beauty king or queen for any, amount of time in your 50s, are you? Do you know what I mean?
well,
But
it goes back to what you said earlier. It's like, it's an acceptance job. Just accepting that. I was having a shave earlier, and I noticed this jowl thing happening here, and it's kind of like, it's not great, but it's just the way my body's getting. I'm 57. That's going to happen. And
yeah,
it's just an acceptance job.
right.
I've got more
Why can't other people
important stuff to waste my energy on.
Why
You
can't
know.
other people accept that though? That why do we have to fit this mold in the industry? Especially obviously, yeah, say modeling or the music industry where everything's glamour, And imagine if we retracted that and went back to some other form of the acceptance that it's okay not to be so perfected or skinny or muscly or whatever. Yeah, I just don't
Yeah.
understand. I don't. My head can't even compute why is that not acceptable with people, young people, because they're striving for perfection, isn't it? That's the thing.
Well,
They
it's a
want.
kind of like
It's like they have to emulate the pop stars
it's
that have already been. You know what I mean? Like the Mariah Careys or.
it's like a herd mentality, isn't it? You know, it's that kind of like, all these people buy the young magazines, sorry, buy
Mm,
the magazines that tell them they've got to look like this, like that. It's a herd mentality. So they
yeah,
get to all these young people get together, and they think they're being told the same thing, so they talk about the same thing. I need to look like this. Do you think I should get my lips done? I'm going to get my lips done or whatever. And there's no one there
that's a brainwash.
saying, yeah, there's no one there saying, hold on a minute, you don't need to do any of that. You'd be
Mm.
much happier if you just accepted that
Well,
the way your body's going to be is how it's going to be. And it's that kind of like, you can do stuff like diet and exercise, you know.
and we're going back to the mental health
Yeah,
aspect.
yeah, yeah.
Are you gonna ruin your mental health by fixating on perfection? Like, don't enjoy your life. Let's just not have a piece of cake today or whatever it might be, But yeah, like to starve yourself for something or, all that stuff where
Mm.
perfection is the only thing you think about. Anyway, we kind of
Yeah.
just went off piece there. Band dynamics. Let's get back to music. Was it? Oh no, hang on. Staying positive without being fake about it, without getting plastic surgery. What does staying positive actually mean to you right now? What's something small that's been generally good lately? How do you stay hopeful without ignoring reality? ignore it. Do you think positivity is a mindset or a habit or something else? I know there's a lot there. I thought I'd bung it in together
Is this
because
centered on music? Is it?
well, no, I guess not. But it's kind of all in this theme of keeping the mental health going while we're
I think it
doing
all
the
feed, I think yeah, I think it all feeds into itself, doesn't it? It's kind of like, if
yeah.
I'm feeling good, if I'm feeling positive, and I go to rehearsal, I'm probably going to play better, going to enjoy it more. You know, um, I can't remember what the question was. What was the first question?
What does staying positive actually mean to you right now?
Oh, right, yeah. Well, it is. It's like, is that kind of mental health thing? Is that kind of um, it's keeping that perspective that everything's okay. There's kind of like, yeah, unfortunately, there's a lot of people in a worse off position than you. You know, you got it's that gratitude, isn't it? Of what you have got as
I mean,
opposed to what you want. You want.
yeah, yeah, I agree.
Yeah, and it's that kind of like, it's that, I know I've bought and sold a few guitars the last few years, but my brother's constantly selling them kind of thing. And it's that kind of like, it's that kind of like, there's the camera expression, but it applies to anything really. Someone said, what's the best camera I can use to take, what's the best camera to go out and take a photo, street photography photos? And the guy goes, the camera you've got, just
Yeah.
be satisfied with what you've got, you
Hmm.
know, and that's kind of the way because it's very easy, like music especially, to go think, well, if I just get this next bit of kit, this next pedal, this next guitar,
Just makes things
it's
sound
it's
better.
gonna it's that endorphin fix basically.
Yeah, I mean, I
You
must
know,
admit, there's obviously things that sometimes I wish I've had the money to then invest, say, in the looper pedals and all that other stuff that I really, I could get really obsessed with accessories and stuff, music, and just experiment with music. And obviously, I want to do that with Zach in future as well. So I've got a whole list of things I feel like, you know, that would have
mm,
helped to just think. But that's one of the aspects that frustrates me, I suppose, sometimes because I know that I could do so much more. Do you know what I mean? With sound or recording different types of things, or as we progress,
mm,
especially. Do you know what I mean? It's always been that, yeah. But again, going back to the lack mentality, just has to leave the room. Whatever it is that's stopping, whatever it is that's moving us forward, we can't keep focusing on that. We've got to focus on just like you say, deal with what you've got. You don't need to buy a new bit of kit or whatever. You just deal with what's in front of you
yeah,
right now.
yeah, 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 exactly. Yeah,
What
yeah.
will come in the future will come. Um, band dynamics. How do we handle it when one of us is in a bad mood during rehearsal? I don't think that's what happened, does it? We're never in bad
Mm.
moods during music because it's so great. Are you? I don't know. I haven't been in a bad mood during rehearsal.
Sometimes I'm a bit kind of lacking energy, I suppose.
Yeah, sure.
But once you get again, it's once you get playing, it just kind of like lifts the whole kind of vibe, lifts the mood and the
Yeah. Can you just bear
everything.
with me? I need to get my charger. 1 second.
All right, okay.
Battery's about to blow. Anyway, it's almost done, I think. Rehearsal.
Yeah, no, I've been in other bands where people have turned up a bit grumpy. Um, I don't know. You just kind of, in my experience, I suppose, I think you just kind of leave them to it, and hopefully, when they start playing for a bit, they'll come out of whatever cloud they're under.
I mean, that's the whole point of
Um,
doing music, isn't it? So cathartic.
yeah, exactly. It's that kind of. Um, I mean, it depends what the issue is. If someone's got an issue with someone else in the band, then that's different. But if someone's just had a bad day, it's kind of like, okay, let's just play. It's just like any other situation. Just don't wind them up. Don't be a dick. Just kind of let them try and find their own way out of it. By playing music, I suppose.
Yeah.
Um,
Just be lucky you're doing it anyway,
yeah.
Does
So,
playing together help regulate each other emotionally? Yeah.
what was that one?
Does playing together help regulate each other emotionally? And then it's
Um,
like, what's something we do as a band that keeps things grounded? And how does adding a drummer change the energy, not just musically, but emotionally?
all right.
The
Uh, what was the last one? How does the drummer change the music?
energy, not just musically, but emotionally.
Yeah, well, I think definitely. I mean, when we rehearsed with Phil the other week, I mean, it was great. It was just kind of like it just added that extra dynamic. I felt much freer playing the guitar. Felt much more. Um, you just feel like being a duo. You just feel like naked. It's very. You just kind of feel exposed.
Yeah.
Um, but with Phil, it's that kind of like, and because he added a really nice grooves, then you can kind of like just get into it. Just kind of
Well,
enjoy
exactly.
it
Yeah. It's almost like you're enjoying
instead of
your
like,
own music.
yeah. And even when I played like maybe the wrong note here and there, it just didn't really. It didn't
Mm.
for me. Didn't kind of stand out as much as it used to, and it just kind of like, yeah, just a really good, just brought a really good vibe to the whole thing.
Yeah, yeah, totally. Yeah, I really enjoyed that. Definitely made me feel much more uplifted and took me on different directions and just, I don't know, memories
Well, I
of the.
think I think what you're doing, you kind of like, I think you just play off each other's energy, don't you? Because it's kind of
Yeah.
like, so you
So
got
just
Phil's.
regulate the emotions. Mm.
Yeah, yeah, and it's kind of like, I mean, regulate emotions. I don't know. It kind of like brings them up, I think, a little bit. Um, but with Phil, he kind of like, he was into it, so I was feeding off his energy, and I was into
Yeah.
it. He's feeding
That's
off
kind of what I
mine, and
meant,
likewise with
like
you.
we all regulate each other.
Yeah, I think. Well, I think we just kind of like, yeah, that's that kind of like triangle of energy, and
Mm.
um, just really kind of freeing and positive. I
Hmm.
found it. Yeah, just kind of like really kind of inspiring.
Obviously, we've done all this without the drummer in the room, and we do hope to have Phil on at some point and get
Yeah,
his all of this because obviously he's a newbie to our band, not to many others, but it'd be good to hear the experiences as well in the music industry. And obviously
yeah,
he's a dad
yeah.
as well. He's a busy man. And yeah, we have no idea really, do we, how it's all going to go? But it's just so nice we can even meet once a month at the moment because yeah,
Yeah.
time's definitely speeding up. It's weird that it's almost May.
1st of May tomorrow. Yeah, yeah.
Like what? Two
Crazy.
months to
It's gonna be
this.
the longest day.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and suddenly it's like the last week I've just done so much, prospecting and talking to people and networking and all this other stuff online. That's a whole different kind of energy. And I don't want to be stuck on
Mm.
my phone the whole time either, but I've had to.
Yeah.
Again, with Facebook, I'm not a Facebook person. I've had to get back on it just to do because some people aren't even using Instagram, right? So I've got to go back to the old school to contact people on it on Facebook because that's
Mm.
their um, way of being contacted, right? So
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
alone. So I have to mentally just check out and go, right, Robina, you've had 8 hours, say, of the same type of thing. I have to really take some deep breaths and start doing something different. You know what I
Just
mean?
gotta let the cat in. Hold on.
You want the cat cam. Uh, yeah, just going back to checking in with the mental health, with the Tai Chi, with the going for a walk. It's all really helped in between because I've just had to kind of, and obviously looking after Zach, have to physically wind down, get my rest. Yeah, and then not finding time to write music. I've literally, like I said, today I managed to just, and even last night, I was just scribbling away, trying to piece it all together, and it comes together sort of magically, thankfully,
Mm.
in the space of time. Because actually, what I want to do is just have a day to myself at the helm of a studio, and intentionally just think, right, this is how it's going to go. Like I just can't
Mm.
remember the last time I had time for that, you know. So I
Yeah, I
think,
know what you mean.
you know, as a band, we're doing quite well considering all of us are so bloody busy.
Yeah, yeah,
um,
absolutely. Yeah.
what's one thing you're looking forward to right now? So it's a closing and reflective segment.
So, what am I looking forward to right now?
Uh, yeah.
So, musically, it's just yeah, just me and Phil getting rehearsed up and playing some gigs in the summer. That's what I kind of like really want to do. Um, and and just keep writing and yeah, just being energized by it. And then out of not non-musically, it's just to just keep trying to keep doing all the positive stuff. And it's just, it's the stuff I think we said earlier about, I know what I need to do sometimes, but I don't do it. So I end up not feeling great or as good as I could feel. And that's the thing. I kind of like, was it on Monday or Tuesday? I think it was Tuesday, Monday or Tuesday. I just kind of had a bit of a rubbish day at work, and I after work I spent an hour and a half, changed the cat litter, and just hoovered the whole flat. And it's kind of like one of those things where I'd rather I didn't have to do it, but I have to do it. And I knew once I'd done it, I'd feel better because my surroundings are
Mm.
cleaner and healthier for me and the cat.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, and it's that kind of like, and then that kind of set myself up for the evening. I felt, oh, brilliant. I feel lighter, feel better. And then you feel like, oh, I can give myself a bit of a reward now of whatever, watching binge watching some serial, right? Or reading or recording some music or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. Reward
It's
yourself.
yeah, it's knowing the whole kind of like it's knowing what I know what I have to do to keep positive and stuff. It's just doing it.
But
I can.
rewarding yourself even makes you feel, that you've achieved that thing because you wouldn't have been rewarding yourself otherwise. It's just this thing
Yeah, and
you're
it's
gonna
that,
click.
yeah, and it's kind
Um,
of like, and it's not being hard on yourself. It's kind of like, okay, I should have psyched, so I could, a couple of days time, I could think, oh, well, I should have cycled today, but I didn't. And it's kind of like knowing, don't beat yourself up about it. Kind of like we can go, you can go cycling tomorrow. I should have done that recording today, and it's like, well, I can just do it tomorrow or whenever. It's that kind of like it'll wait. You know,
yeah,
you can't live on regret and all that kind of stuff.
yeah, no, for sure. But again, with the shoehorning type feeling at the moment, packing all this stuff in a week where you need at least a couple of weeks or whatever. It's just yeah. Sometimes you think how the miraculous way something actually transpires. From you not thinking it was going to work out that way. So it's like, how does that even, like for instance, I did my tutorial. I was really surprised I made it because some weeks I just cannot. You can't sit there for 2 hours listening to what we've got to do. I mean, basically, we can do it without. We don't have to engage in the tutorials, but it's actually really helpful. And when I push myself to do it,
Mm.
come away from it feeling like, "Oh, actually, yeah, now it's sort of falling into place, and I want to make more of an effort. I do want to present my work in a decent way. And if I hadn't have listened to the tutor in that couple of hours, even though I've been feeling tired, or do you know what I mean? On the screen, you just yawn. By 8 o'clock at night, you're still on the. Do you know what I mean? It's just
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
well, face that. It's like back in the days when we had to do Zooms for work all the time. And it's like,
yeah. Mm.
and now it's going back to sort of a time where, well, we still have to use Zoom for various amounts of things, don't we? So, yeah, I just think having to keep your mental health in check, but realise you can achieve those little small goals. And when you do that thing, you come out of it, you realise, hey, you've done it. You've crossed that little sort of mountain you built in your head for it.
Yeah, yeah.
And
You kind of your mind tends to like show you worst case scenarios of stuff.
yeah, it's
You
weird.
know.
It really is weird. It's like you've just got to realise those thoughts aren't your own half the time anyway. I think that's what it is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It's
So
definitely looking after yourself. That's the kind of like. the main thing. Is that kind of like toolbox, getting a toolbox of things, different things. So
Exactly. I mean,
if
it
I
says
hurt
here.
my, sorry,
Sorry.
no, I
If
say
the what?
about the toolbox. It's kind of like um, I read, I heard this thing once where your life. I think I might have said this on a previous podcast. Your life should be like 8 boxes, no, 9 boxes, and in each box you've got something that nourishes your soul, like family, guitaring, music, photography, whatever. So if suddenly whatever is in that drawer is gone for some reason, like I've broken my leg, so I can't cycle, then you've got 8 other drawers of stuff to nourish your soul instead of
Yeah,
it all being in one drawer, you know.
yeah, yeah. I had to go and buy some very with it, and but then it's just like,
Mm,
just let it be. Right. So, and
yeah.
then it says, if someone listening is feeling frustrated with the world, what would you say to them?
Well,
If you're
just what
having
we
a bad
said, just what
day, don't worry about it.
just what we've said really. Kind of like you got no control over people, places and things, you
Mm,
know. Um to just kind of like look after yourself, find, recognize the things that nourish your soul, make you feel good when you do them, and just don't do them obsessively, but find regular, have a regular kind of routine where you use that kind of stuff. And spiritually, just this is all an illusion, it's all a school, all these challenges are set up by ourselves in order to grow, you know, um, and whatever you're going through, you'll spiritually, you'll get tremendous growth over it. And finally, and not every, from a spiritual point of view, not every soul incarnates in an earth life because it's so challenging. So if you're here having an earth life, it means you're one courageous mofo.
you
Yeah,
chose this path. Now go and
one courageous.
yeah, go and
Yeah,
well,
just kind of like don't worry about what other people say. Just follow your own positive instincts.
yeah.
You
I mean,
know,
I know
like
it must be so hard because obviously you don't feel like this life's an adventure when there could be potentially all these things just coming at you. Especially with the news or doom and gloom and whatever's on your phone. It's just
mm,
how do you separate yourself from it? Well, you have to almost pretend you're not in it because you have to keep on practicing that because if you don't, you can soon let that be your reality, right? I say
yeah. I mean, as
create
as
your
with
reality, and that's it. That's all you need to do is your own path. Like I said, it is your intention to change your life. So
yeah, yeah, exactly. So within, your outside world pretty much reflects your inside world as well.
yeah,
So if you're feeling good and positive on the inside, then your outside world is likely to be more positive and stuff as well. It's that kind of window to the world, isn't it? It's kind of very easy. Your perspective, you're looking through this window to the
mm,
world and you're smearing it with fear, anxiety. So it's a really distorted version. So what you
mm,
need is that kind of all these positive tools. So every day you're scraping all the crap off that window so you can see
yeah,
the proper perspective instead of like the horrible one,
yeah.
distorted one.
Well, exactly, and that's the thing, though, isn't it? You're. It's very easy to blame the external because that's what you're seeing. So it's almost like you are still looking through a distorted lens because that lens is already distorted. So as long as you know that,
Yeah.
you can do something about it.
And it's kind of like you say, it's the only thing you got control over is how you react to stuff,
Yeah.
you know. And so if you react with anger, you're going to get anger back. If you react with kind of like a perspective of these things are here to challenge me, for my growth, I'm very lucky to be here, then immediately your point of view changes, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think that's the thing is actually being grateful. I mean, every day when it's been so sunny and lovely out there, I genuinely just feel connected to something so much bigger than us, right? Right, pin-sized people on Earth. It just feels so kind of humbling, hasn't it? It's just what I mean, we can't even let anything else disturb this beauty that's around us. You know, that's the other thing, isn't it? There's this constant, like you
Well,
say,
going back
negativity.
to,
Well,
yeah,
we
yeah,
can
exactly.
ruin
And
our.
if the going back to the population thing, the bigger the population, the more they're going to cut down trees and build blocks of flats on parks.
Mm-hmm.
It's that kind of thing. I still find it's amazing, and I've said this before, that human is the only, if you take an insect off planet, the planet will react really badly. The ecosystem. Take the humans away, and the planet will just flourish.
Mm-hmm.
That
Yeah.
says something. It says something, doesn't it?
Oh man, we've got to keep respecting Mother Gaia because this is it. This is our, this is our
Yeah.
oxygen, isn't it? All of this, it's here for us. We don't realize how much it's affecting us because actually, and it's protecting us. But most people are completely unaware or not even thankful for that gift of life. It's like every
Yeah.
single moment we're here. Just take stock. Yeah. Well, I think we're going to round it off now because it's the last question. Bear with. Phone bloody password keeps flashing up. What does headfirst mean to you in this current moment? What keeps you going creatively when things feel uncertain? We've gone through that. So yeah, the last question was, what does headfirst mean to you in this current moment?
In the current, what was that? The last bit in the
Oh,
current.
no.
Well, again, it's just like it's an outlet, isn't it? It's that kind of like we can talk back and forth, talk, we bounce things off each other, kind of thing, and it's that kind of yeah, it's like getting stuff out instead of keeping it in. Not in a kind of negative way, but just that kind of like opinions and ideas and experiences. You
Mm,
know, and yeah, it's just a bit of a platform for that. And then if anybody gets anybody out of us, away from us too, gets something out of it, it's great. That's what it's.
totally. Even if we just help one person, right? It's something that hopefully we're.
Yeah, if someone just watched it and think, "Well, I'm going to take up cycling because I used to really like cycling and I'm really grumpy and have been for years and the bike's in the shed, I might go out and take it out," something like that,
Off
and
the
then
guitar.
then there's that ripple effect, whoever it is, him or her, does that, or does whatever, then their mood brightens up, and then that ripple effect, then their interactions will be more positive with other people,
Yeah.
which will then make those other people more positive.
Again, I think we've always done this to give people some hope, right? Because if there's anyone out there who is relating to the musical journey we've had, obviously, that alone hopefully will help someone to either not give up or, yeah, keep kind of tinkering away. I'm pretty sure that a lot of people I've helped, I feel, when they've been in some sort of crisis situation, whether it's a relationship breakup or whatever. And yeah, it's about energy exchange, right? So,
Yeah, yeah, it's
uh, and that for me, I just feel headfirst. We had no idea what to do with this podcast, maybe apart from interview other people as well, because so much has come in the way. It's now transgressed into something totally different, right? Because it's just us having a moan every month, checking in with each other.
yeah, it's that kind of, yeah, it's just and I think it's good not to have a bit of a plan for it, but not a rigid plan, so it evolves naturally. And
Yeah, it's just
um
life's too short. It's like, why? We wouldn't even do this in a contrived way because what's the point? We've just got a nice sort of symbiotic thing with this question Q&A thing, and whatever comes out, right? I mean, obviously with the band, I'm quite excited to know that, um, you know, we're gonna keep doing the trio more often than not. So even though we
yeah,
do duo stuff, which is also really cool, to then experiment to see how we're going to be received, as a trio. That is, again, that's just such an exciting thing to look forward to. Sort of like
yeah,
that's
yeah,
really making me feel really vibed or mentally better. Because it's something I suppose we've both been striving for years, haven't we? But we never really found the right person.
Yeah, it's just a little gang. It's that little gang, isn't it? Kind of us against the rest of the world, kind of stuff.
Yeah, and again, some people get, we could tell a couple of people about it, and they're like, "Really? Yeah, that's really great." And so I think telling the right people who get why you're doing what you're doing, but also sometimes don't maybe talk to the people who are going to make you feel inadequate about what you're doing, or um,
Yeah,
sort of despondent. And I'd say to those people, you don't know what you're talking about, so just be quiet.
yeah. It's kind
Sounding
of like,
rude.
yeah, it's
Uh,
like having that filter, having your own filter for people's opinions.
well, it's a
You know,
shame. I just feel if we did live in that sort of world where people had so much support for one another because they generally want people to succeed, there's no animosity, jealousy, uh,
mm,
comparing, competition, whatever. It's. I mean, Jesus, the amount of people we've seen on Instagram, and actually even recently, it's so heartwarming to see people. I mean, they're putting random posts up, and you can tell they're just sort of they're just fed up with the music industry. They don't want to keep on churning all this stuff out, because they have to put content out constantly on Instagram, whatever. They look tired and whatever else, and you just think, well, at least they're still doing something. And they're not giving up because their friends told them to or whatever. It's just
yeah, it's that self belief, isn't it?
just do it. Do whatever it takes to believe in yourself. Don't let anyone else tell you what you should do. Number one.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Um, because that's the other thing about mental health, isn't it? The other people's opinions.
Well,
So,
yeah, and it's kind of like that's what it all is an opinion. They don't have your emotions or your mental health,
well, or your
so
drive or passion to do something you love
so they
doing.
don't. So it is just
Or do
at
what
the
you
very
love.
best, it's an opinion. It's not. Everybody sees the world through their own pair of eyes. We all see things completely differently. So
Yeah, I mean that's the thing. I'd really love to turn the music industry on its head, and yeah, and again, I suppose genre-based music is there, and people some misfits are obviously accepted, and that people are paying a lot of money to see people who you know do some nasty stuff. But
yeah,
when we kind of we're not pandering to anything that's regular. I don't know where do we fit in, but who
well, it's
cares?
that kind of thing. It's that again. It's that we don't need to fit in. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
if you're trying to fit in, that means you're doing it wrong, isn't it? Really, you know,
I
you're
think
trying to
that's what you're up
you're tr-
against. This, if you think you need to fit in, um, is where you're going to start coming across problems for yourself because
well, you're
you're not
just if you
you're
think
not yourself.
if you're trying to fit in, you're trying to be a version of yourself that you're not. If you're trying to fit in, if I'm trying to fit in at work in a works meeting by saying what I think people want to hear, not being myself, am I? If I'm, in any situation like that where I'm kind of like meeting people for the first time and saying what I think they want me to say, it's just again, it's not the right, it's not you, it's the version you think they want to see. And a typical example of that, which is a natural example, is when people go on their, a first date.
Mm,
Everybody shows the best version of themselves, and then,
yeah.
you know, so
I mean, as I've got older, I think I've just got more comfortable with knowing that some people just don't get me or, you know, have it in for me for whatever reason, even if they haven't met me, which is sad because also that is again going back to the reading a book by its cover. I mean, why would someone have it in for you just by the way you look or whatever? you know.
Mm.
But when you feel that energy, I just feel like you just got to keep centered, haven't you? And
Yeah.
no, not everyone's going to like you, and that's also fine. You know, don't try and why would
There'll
you
be
try and be liked? Because you're trying to fit someone else's projection of what you should be like. You know, it's very bizarre. Um, but hey,
indeed.
that's just the world we live in. So please look after yourselves, and I hope this has been very helpful in any way possible. And we look forward to doing another one and hopefully bringing our new drummer into the mix,
Yeah.
the head first
Yeah.
mix. So yeah, good things to look forward to. So yeah, deep breaths. Keep doing the work. And any
Feed the
final,
soul. Feed the
any
soul.
any parting words of wisdom?
Just feed the soul. Whatever soul nourishes you, which like whatever makes you feel good in a positive way. That's
Remember, you
what
are.
you. That's what you should be doing. I read that in a spiritual book. How do I know I'm on the spiritual path? Is where it's when you're doing the stuff that makes you feel good, soul nourishing kind of stuff, positive stuff. You know, just keep directing yourself towards that. And trying new things.
Yeah, and stop trying to live up to other people's benchmarks. I'd say,
Yeah,
keep
yeah.
doing you.
All right
So
then.
look after yourself. Have a great week. The rest of week, and happy bank holiday.
Indeed.
What are you doing, by the way?
What am I doing? Bank holiday.
Yeah.
It's my sister's birthday.
Oh yeah.
Um, Beginning of next week, so I think we're getting together. Um, I'm just gonna. I'm trying to find possibly Sunday, just a day where I'm not doing anything, no plans, just because it's been so hectic recently.
Yeah, absolutely.
Um,
Yeah. You need
just
some
kind of
new.
like, yeah, just kind of probably try and get outside. I might try and cycle a bit further. I might cycle to Uxbridge. I've
Hmm.
decided.
What's an
Just
Uxbridge?
it's all right. It's all right. I mean, it's a bit slightly dingy town, but
Is it?
got a bit of a good vibe. It's got a bit of a nice. It's got a bit of a vibe to it, and there's a few good shops to just mong in. But it's some coffee shops,
Yeah.
And it's just nice to have a bit of a destination to cycle to.
You got to gauge the weather though, because I think it's sort of on the turn again.
Yeah, I think it's. I was thinking about going and doing it on Sunday, but Sunday's looking a bit choppy, so we'll just have to see. I've got the whole
Yeah.
summer. It's just, again, that's just something, a possibility. So,
Did
um,
you? What did we say about the rehearsal? Did you want to come over to Lightwater still, or
yeah, a week Sunday, 10th. Yeah, it's the
do you want to
10th.
do
Yeah, yeah,
that?
come
Okay,
over in the
cool.
afternoon.
Great.
All right, I'll speak
All
to you
right.
soon then.
Over and
Take
out.
take
Take it
care.
easy.
Bye.
Love.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.